and welcome to Pain in the Podcast, your place to find out everything you've ever wanted to know about pain. My name's Dr. Joseph Parsons, and I'm joined by the phenomenal Dr. Joshua Craw and Don Woodjasoria, and today is our 1-year anniversary episode, The History of Pain Management, Part 3. Welcome in. Hello and welcome to the first anniversary episode of Pain in the Podcast! Woo! Wow, who thought we would make it this far? Certainly not any of us.
No.
This is episode 27 of Pain in the Podcast, and how better to celebrate 1 year of the podcast than to go back and revisit the first ever episode. So we are going to be doing History of Pain Management Part 3. But first, a fact about each of us, starting with Don.
A fact about me is that, this is quite a boring one, but I really like looking at interior design concepts on Instagram.
Nice. Are you a Pinterest guy or?
I've never used Pinterest.
Wow, it would blow your mind.
I feel like there's too much, so I'd be very overwhelmed on that.
Who puts pictures on Pinterest? Because I find loads of stuff on there whenever I need to design something or whatever, but I don't know anyone that's ever put a picture on Pinterest.
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah, it always pops up on all the search engines though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What, Pinterest?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
No, you look for an item or something, yeah. It's usually one of the first ones that comes up.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like Tumblr in that sense. You don't really know who's posting these things, but it's just always there. Do you remember Tumblr from back in the day?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's gone. Josh, what's the fact about you?
So, fact about me this week is I can peel any fruit in one go.
He is presenting now to Don and I a easy peeler that he has made to look like a human, actually.
I thought it was a starfish.
In one smooth 5 peel. Yeah, it's a 5.
I think it's a starfish.
5-limbed, but one of the limbs is much thinner than the others, make it look like a head.
Yeah.
I think what Josh meant by one go is, as in he doesn't do it in one. Well, he does it at one time, but the peel is
complete.
It's complete.
You could use it as
once peeled.
It's a Satsuma. It's a Satsuma easy peeler suit at this point. You could fill it up with a water balloon and then re-sew it back.
I'd like for you to try that with a. What kind of fruits did you say you could do that with?
Any fruit.
Apple.
Pineapple. Boom.
I can peel a pineapple in one go.
Can you?
Yeah, just give me a knife.
You could peel it in one go?
One go.
Yeah, that's not too hard.
For our Patreon, Josh is going to be peeling a pineapple in one not continuous, you can pause to turn the pineapple, but one non-removing of the knife. Okay. I'm going to just provide you with a series of fruits the next time we meet, and I'm going to get you to peel all
That should be a challenge. You know how I had the cocktail challenge?
Yeah.
Peel the fruit challenge.
I'll do it.
It's like Fruit Ninja, but much slower.
And I'm trying to think of fruits that might be difficult to peel, and I just can't think of anything apart
Dragon
from apple.
fruit.
Nope, too easy.
In one go?
With a knife, yeah.
Oh, with a knife, okay. Yeah.
That's the thing. Anything with a knife is fairly easy.
Watermelon.
Easy.
One go, peeling a watermelon.
Maybe a machete.
Right, okay. We're going to go, Don and I are going to get together and work out the levels of difficulty for Josh, and we'll present them in order.
You actually missed the really easy, obvious one.
Which is
something like a raspberry. How do you peel a raspberry?
Oh yeah, with great difficulty. Yeah. Okay, let's say
I didn't even think about it. I was thinking fruits that had peels to peel.
Yeah.
Grapes would be quite hard.
Grapes, but they're doable, but not in one go. They're very hard in one go.
They're hard in one go, I think, yeah. Teeny tiny.
You'd have to have scored the edges.
No, see, I didn't. The reason I didn't say that was because I thought you might use a different technique of blanching them.
That's exactly what I'd be doing.
Same with tomatoes. Yeah.
This feels very cheating.
Feels very chefy.
Right, shall we move on?
Yes.
Fact about me this week.
Go Joe.
A fact about me this week is that I am a big fan of sourdough baking.
Yes, he is currently letting his pizza dough rise, sourdough pizza dough.
I most certainly am. And do you know why it's such a good sourdough?
Because the jar of starter exploded and overflowed last night.
It did explode and overflow last night, all over the kitchen counter. But do you know why it tastes so good?
How old is the starter?
I've had it for 18 months, but it's much older than that.
Is that why it tastes so good?
No.
Oh.
No, it's from a student accommodation of a friend, and I think their hygiene was probably... not their hygiene, they're a very clean person, but their housemates, I'm less confident. I think the dirty bacteria that were in the air have made it a really nice sourdough.
That dirty sourdough.
I worry for my long-term health outcomes, but in the short term, it tastes delicious.
I feel like you're probably growing some kind of like immune system
Booster.
booster.
Yeah,
That's the word I was looking
maybe.
for.
So I remember back when I was at Newcastle University doing my first degree, there was a rumour going around that one of the students in the year above us did a study looking at bacteria that grows in toilets of exclusively female student houses compared to exclusively male houses.
I don't think this was a myth. I think it was a PhD student.
I think it was, but I have to caveat it as a myth, just in case it's actually not true.
Yeah, well, if it is true, we'll find the reference for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what they found was that the male students had more bacteria, Celsoprys. However, it was less pathogenic, so less deadly or dangerous, compared to the women's bacteria. So the hypothesis is women actually clean the toilets. So what's left is the bad bugs that can survive all that nastiness and what have you, and they don't have to outcompete loads of other bacteria. Just a little side on bacteria in student houses there. So
You know what's funny? I've just quickly had a Google to try and find that paper from Newcastle, but it appears that there's like multiple papers looking at bacterial composition in different bathrooms and in universities. So we'll put some of them in the show notes and we can see.
It's a very interesting topic.
It is. You just think some of the things. I bloody struggle to get funding for chronic pain research in my side career. It's really hard to get grants, and someone is paying to swab uni students' toilets. Someone is being paid to do this.
it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
It ain't much, but it's honest work. Right, let's move on to what we've learned about ourselves this week. Don, what have you learned about yourself?
I've learned about myself that I'm going to be quite sad in the next few months because I'm going to have to part ways with my beloved Mini Cooper, Merlin.
This Mini has been with Don almost as long as our friendship.
Yeah, I got it, 5-6 years ago maybe, and it's been a fantastic
Surely
car.
more than that.
No, I think I got it in 2018 or 2019.
Maybe it's just that I've kind of reverse engineered it into your past.
It's kind of what most people associate with me. It's my car.
It's not what I associate with.
Well, that's because what you associate with me is a lot worse.
What do you associate with him?
Bitchin' hair.
Okay, I'll take that. You definitely want to say something else, but I'll take that. And yeah, it's just destroyed. It's coughing up its lungs.
It really is.
So it's
a heavy smoker at the minute.
It is, yeah. It's a 97-year-old grandma that's been smoking her entire life. Yeah.
Oh, R.I.P. Merlin.
Sad times.
We was following behind you yesterday in a second car, and there was a lot of smoke coming from it.
It's a lot of blue smoke. I don't know how it's passed ULEZ compliance, but yes.
Either way, Josh, what have you learned about yourself this week?
I've learned about myself this week. I think that I've got an incredibly low threshold for noisy people nowadays.
How did you find this out?
Well, dropping the veil again, this was... When this was filmed, there was a very famous singing competition on the television. And somebody was being very noisy. I'm going to leave it at that. They're probably never going to listen to this podcast, but...
Just in case.
Just in case.
Moving on.
Joe, what have you learned about yourself?
I have learned... I wouldn't say this is something I've learned brand new. I would say this is something that's been reiterated to me. It's something that it's struck a chord with me even more this week, which is the importance of having personal conversations with patients that you're working with. So while I'm training to be a physiotherapist, I'm currently working as a therapy assistant, which is like the step down from that, basically, where you're supervised by a qualified therapist, but you're doing broadly similar work. And I've been working with mainly sort of older patients, lots of different conditions. But one gentleman was a stroke patient who I've been working with to kind of build up his walking tolerance again, to kind of help him with functional things like getting on and off the toilet and things, building up his ability to be independent. And when I finished that job position there, he was really kind of teary that I was leaving, and it was incredibly emotional, and a very special moment in my clinical career. But I think the thing that had made the most difference, and the reason why I think he felt like that, was we had such lovely conversations about things that were nothing to do with anything clinical. I think every patient that I have where I go at it from like a purely let's go in and do therapy point of view, the relationship quality is like nowhere near the quality of that where I go in and I talk to them about their garden, or this particular gentleman was a big fan of football stadium architecture, which frankly is something I don't give a shit about, but his passion for it was just infectious. So it was so interesting to kind of like infuse him, and yeah, it was really special.
What's your favourite football stadium, Joe?
My favourite football stadium probably is St James's Park.
In Newcastle.
In Newcastle, because I went to see a football match there when I was young, which I think, and I may be misremembering this, was Alan Shearer's testimonial game, which is a pretty big deal. And it was a sold-out game at St James's Park, and we were right up the top. And luckily, I've got eyes like a hawk. But it was amazing. The atmosphere was fabulous. You could just see everything so clearly. It's a really well-designed stadium. I remember it was clean. I remember the toilets weren't horrendous, which, you know, for a football stadium is a win.
Plus, we had our university exams, though.
We did. We had our university exams in the hall at St James's Park, not on the field.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And it rained, and then you had to do all your exams all over again.
Please now.
Oh, I was more going to say you've just got Newcastle United players absolutely leathering football that you do exams. Right. Should we move on to the actual meat of the episode?
Yes, let's do it, Joe.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there is no better place to start again than back in ancient Egypt.
Oh, yes.
And fans of the podcast will be well aware of the Ebers Papyrus.
Yeah, so the Ebers Papyrus was actually found by an Egyptologist between the legs of an unknown mummy. Yeah, and then it was sold to George Ebers in 1873.
So is this another case of Edwin Smith bought by and named after Victorian man?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I can just imagine that Mr. Ebers just had a fantastic moustache as well.
I'm going to Google him right now. Oh, that is a magnificent beard.
Sort of looks like Darwin.
Right, we'll put that on our story. Keep your eyes peeled for George Ebers.
I wonder what they were doing in the middle of a mummy's legs. Why, how? Are we not going to talk about that?
We can.
can.
Yeah, that's
We just kind of glossed over the fact that it was between the legs of an unknown mummy.
Yeah, I mean,
This is an Egyptian mummy, which we're assuming is mummified, not just a random mother.
We're also assuming it's wrapped in paper, right? Or like,
Yes.
not paper, but like papyrus towel, whatever
Yeah.
the hell you call it. And so surely this other thing that's wrapped in paper like just looked like the mummy was quite well hung.
So, what else did the papyrus actually show us? Was there anything that we missed from the last episode on history?
Well, there was one piece of the papyrus that spoke about the god Ra having a headache, and the goddess Isis prepared a mixture of coriander, poppies, wormwood, samez, which I don't know what that is, and juniper and honey in order to soothe the headache. But I think, as our listeners will be thoroughly expecting if they listen to the first two episodes, there was something that we were far more excited by that we discovered new about the papyrus.
Yes, and that was its ability to remedy or to cool the anus.
We all love a bit of anus cooling.
It gets too hot sometimes.
It does. I find it's the best place to vent heat. How would they? What's the recipe, Don?
So the recipe is onion meal, which I'm guessing is just onion powder of
like
some
ground
kind,
onions.
like ground dried onions, and then honey, water, and this is what really got to me: the tail of a mouse.
And how would they use the tail of a mouse? Is it a suppository? Is it what?
Is the tail of a mouse still whole? Is it also being ground into a powder, or?
And are they using the whole mouse, but just grabbing the mouse by the mouse's body.
Oh, you think the mouse is
and
still alive?
The mouse is still attached, I think.
So you think the mouse is like being used as a paintbrush for this
Yes,
solution?
almost like a pastry brush when you're doing the egg wash on a piece of pastry.
See, I imagine they have this mouse tail and sort of like whipping it.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's more like, right, this is going to be a very niche reference for people who grew up and went to a Catholic church at any point in their life. When you are being blessed with holy water, sometimes the priest has like a little bowl and they have a stick that looks like a pastry brush with like fabric on the end. Like not fabric, but like...
It's not really fabric. I don't know about what you saw, but what I had at my church was like, it was a stick with a little knob on the end so that it would retain a bit more water.
Yes, and then it's kind of like brushy as well.
And then they'd flick it to you and
Yes.
you just get sprayed with holy water.
And they enjoyed it a lot. They enjoyed it so much. Like they definitely used more water than they needed to. By the end, it was like I was part of a fucking white t-shirt party. I was just completely see-through.
I'll be honest, I can't see any other way that they would use the mouse tail now.
No, well, I think we solved it. Historians, you can rest easy.
Yeah, and I mean, is there any other ways that we can use to like cool the anus? Maybe. I know something that's always quite cooling, and that's menthol.
Okay. But there was actually genuinely use of menthol, wasn't there, in the Ebers Papyrus?
Yeah, there absolutely was. So menthol was mentioned for managing stomach issues in the Ebers Papyrus, and it's thought to have been used medicinally in Japan for over 2,000 years.
So that's two separate parts of the world a very long time ago that were using menthol.
Exactly, yeah. So if two civilizations using the same thing completely independent of each other, then it suggests that there may be some actual medicinal benefit to it.
So what's the way it actually works then? Do we understand how this might have cooled the anus?
Scientifically, of course.
I'm not sure about the cooling, but I can confirm that menthol is actually a weak opioid agonist and a sodium channel blocker.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so an agonist is like the key to a lock. It attaches to a receptor and then it causes a signal to go on. That happens in opioid receptors to get the opioid effect. And sodium channel blockers, rather interestingly, that's the same way that lidocaine, a very common local anaesthetic, works. Blocks sodium channels and it can cause a numbing effect.
There you go. Obviously, as you'd be expecting from us, it's a little bit of a silly start, but interesting about the menthol. We thought maybe the best place to sort of kick off into the meat of the episode would be to look at opium. So it got a lot of mentions in the first two episodes, and we wanted to go back and give you a more detailed history. And at the end of this episode, you'll hear a book review of a book called Milk of Paradise, which is a history of opium. So a lot of the new information we've got is from there. And
What a
it
name
is
for a book.
Fabulous.
So yeah, let's start off with where opium kind of came from. So opium poppies were a domesticated plant, thought to be descended from a wild ancestor originating from the Anatolian coast of the Black Sea.
So that's modern-day Turkey, for anyone who's interested.
And by 3000 BCE, coins in this region had opium poppies on the coinage.
Yeah, I wonder how many of these coins have survived. I've not actually seen a picture of them. If we can find one, we'll put it on our social media.
I sort of feel like that's just sort of like pushing people to buy opium. It's like, here's your money system, opium.
They're just like, I wonder what you'd like to... It's like the modern day... It's the ancient push notification. It's like when you look at your own cash, it's like, wonder what you could buy with your money, and then it's just a picture of an opium poppy on it. It's like, I wonder what you'll spend it on. But the first evidence we have of sort of widespread human cultivation of poppies was from a early Neolithic site in modern day Jordan.
Oh, can I say it?
You please save me.
Okay, so I might be butchering this, but I believe the site is called Netiv Hagdud in modern day Jordan.
Oh, so the Middle East.
In the Middle East. But it wasn't actually the Middle East where the first evidence of humans using them for narcotics or analgesia was. That was actually in Spain, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cantintorer.
Nice. I think that was also a strong pronunciation.
There's more to come.
There's more to come.
So many more to come.
Yeah, so it was first documented in Spain, where they actually found a man who was buried in a mine, and he'd had a poppy capsule stuck in his teeth.
Ah.
This is over 7,500 years ago. This is pre any modern history whatsoever.
That's mad. That he had an opium snus in his teeth. A snus pouch.
What's a snus pouch?
Oh my gosh! All right, so snus pouches are like little teeny tiny little pouches. They're about the size of a piece of chewing gum, and it's just I think nicotine. I don't know what form of nicotine, but it's just a powdered form of nicotine. And the people just stuff it up their gums instead of I guess smoking or like vaping and stuff.
Interesting.
But yeah,
And so they were doing the same thing 7,500 years ago.
that is mad.
Does anyone mind if I go forward, I don't know, say 7,500 years from that point?
Sure.
Thinking a bit more about sort of better documented history, Dioscorides, friend of the podcast, creator of the 800 herbal remedy book called Materia Medica, suggested that if you took opium latex, which is the name for the juice of the poppy, the thing that contains the opiate alkaloids.
The milky kind of substance.
Exactly. Hence the name of the book we talked about, Milk of Paradise. If you applied this to the finger and used it like a suppository, that it would make you go to sleep.
I feel like that'd have the opposite effect on me.
I think I'm quite alert if things are... it depends if I was expecting it or not. If I wasn't expecting it, I would definitely be woken up by the fact that someone had probed me.
All these uses of like opium seems absolutely mental to me. Like people must have been addicted left and right. I wonder if we've got any record of who the first addict was, I guess, of opium.
Well, the first documentation that we have that we can see a really clear sort of dependence on opium is from Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. And funnily enough, actually, thinking of the Greek connection, Galen was his personal physician. So Galen, again, friend of the podcast, was a Greek physician who was then working in ancient Rome. And so they're all linked. They're all good friends.
Yeah.
All good friends.
Opium.
You're going to hear a reference to a famous mathematician even later on. It's all linked.
This one might take you by surprise.
It definitely will.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I wonder if Galen gave Marcus Aurelius the old Trojan horse.
The milky finger.
That's good.
God. What else do we know about Roman use of opium then?
Yeah, so moving on from Marcus Aurelius, he was a great leader of the Roman Empire, and actually he had a Roman army, and that army was heavily dependent on analgesia. They used mandrake and opium for stronger pain.
They also used powdered willow bark. We've spoke about our dear friend the tree eater in episode 1. So again, this kind of modern anti-inflammatory is based on chewing the willow bark.
And for fevers as well.
And for fevers. But where did they get all of these plants from? How did they source these plants when they were on the battlefield?
Did they walk to the pharmacy?
No, Josh, you silly boy. They actually had military hospitals which had gardens set up outside, so they could try and grow as many medicines as they could on the field.
Don, can you pronounce the name of the person who was responsible, like the equivalent of a pharmacist at the time? Since you're nailing pronunciations, the person who was responsible for this garden and preparing the medicines.
Okay, I think Latin might be my downfall here. Give me a second. So these gardens were prepared by Seplaciaris? No, that's awful. Seplaciarius. Seplaciuriu.
Oh, as a doctor, I'm actually okay at pronouncing Latin
Go on.
names.
Okay.
I'd go for Seplazarius.
No, that's
Seplaciarius.
Seplaciarius.
Gotta be.
If you speak ancient Latin, please let us know.
Please write in.
My granddad actually spoke Latin, and he was meant to, well, he wanted to teach me, but he passed away before he could.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you ever heard the parody version of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance?
No.
Which goes, you don't speak Latin, and I don't speak Latin, you and me would be bad romance. Oh. Sorry.
So Sepliarius, no, I said it wrong again. Seplaciarius was a pharmacist of the time, so yeah, in charge of preparing these gardens, and they would just have most things that they needed on hand. I just think that's really funny. Can you just... in modern day medicine, we just look to pills. We get pills shipped over from all over the world, but most of those pills are derived from plant ingredients, right? But in those days, they had literal plants, and so I just think that's really funny. Like the doctors and the surgeons or whatever, just asking for all these different plant ingredients. Like, go get me this. I don't know. What's an example of
They're
one
like,
plants?
this, quick, go to the apiaries, get some honey, get some water, and please, grind up an onion. We've got a very hot anus. This man's anus is flaming. Yeah, I don't think that was their issue. I think they were more bothered about taking these medicines for battlefield first aid kits, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Battlefield Roman doctors, I'm using the term doctor very, very broadly there. They had first aid kits with them, and these include things like aloe as an anti-hemorrhagic agent, vinegar as an antiseptic, henbane ointment for pain, and linen and wool bandages. So the idea of bandaging up wounds, putting medications within those, we've talked about those before with honey, for example, was still used way back when in the Roman Empire. But man, like, have you ever tried like putting vinegar on a wound?
Yes.
I've had it on a paper cut and it is agony.
Yeah, my dad, when I was a kid, I had a handheld drill, like a Dremel, and it was on and I dropped it on my foot, point side down. My dad was like, "Oh yeah, Josh, just put some vinegar on that, that'll be alright."
Well, he is an antiseptic, so, I mean, biologically, he did you well.
Yeah, I've still got my foot, but mentally I'm scarred.
Yeah.
I mean, the Romans must have known something because, as I mentioned in our previous history episode, like, battlefield ORs are actually more sanitary than operating rooms within hospitals.
Really?
Yeah. We mentioned it last time, didn't we, Joe? About how the open air actually removes bacteria and what have you. So it doesn't have a chance to settle. I mean, obviously, if you're in a ditch and there's mud everywhere, then it's going to be less sanitary.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that the ancient Romans were too concerned about hand washing or anything like that. So, yeah.
No, I mean, weren't they the ones to use the same brush in the latrine?
They were, yeah.
Talking about vinegar, didn't the Romans used to use a vinegar stick to wipe their...
No, he's right, in the latrines, but yeah, no, they did.
Oh, did they
used
store
the same
that
stick, but
in...
they cleaned it in vinegar.
Oh, okay.
It all goes, like, everything's connected. And it all somehow leads back to ancient anus.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Vinegar on the anus, oof. Especially after the menthol.
Oh, that would hurt so much if you had a cut. Oh.
What's cutting you down there?
No, if you had like a hemorrhoid or something.
Oh, fair enough.
Like,
Oh, no.
Either way, thinking in, obviously that was ancient Rome, which wasn't Italy at the time, but going forward in time a little bit to the 11th century in Italy, I believe that we learned about a female doctor really pushing the envelope, I believe is the phrase, really pushing forward the
She was a
medical field.
pioneer. Yeah,
she was
a
indeed.
pioneer, yeah. So she was working in obstetrics at Salerno Medical School in the 11th century. And she was an advocate for the use of opium for pain relief during childbirth.
Which at the time was really progressive because people thought that childbirth pain was a divine punishment. And so being able to help relieve people's pain was it was like pretty frowned upon. So she's doing great things. You know what we have done though? We've kept her name, it seems, as a bit of a reveal. We've not told you what her name is.
I'm getting to that.
Okay, you do you.
Another thing that she was particularly progressive about was the case of sexual frustration. She also took it upon herself to test out if opium being applied to the vagina would help with sexual frustration. And I'm not quite sure what they mean by sexual frustration. I'm imagining it's just the inability to have good quality sexual intercourse, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's what, in the source that we got it from, it seemed to suggest. It's not sexual frustration in the sense of not getting sex, it's not getting good sex, seemed to be the thing.
Lack of orgasms. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that's quite progressive because it's taking into account female sexual pleasure, which I don't think was much of a priority at the time for society. No?
Very progressive.
Yeah.
What was this female progressive doctor's name?
Trotula. Like a weird version of Count Dracula that trots about their castle.
Italian Aldi Count Dracula.
Hey, don't go Aldi like that. We like Aldi.
We do like Aldi.
Although little's better. Come at me.
Again, I said last time about whether I could jump forward 750 years. Do you mind if I jump forward another 750 years?
Yeah, please
Let's
do.
go.
Well, actually, it's quite a lot less than that. We'll get to 750 years.
This episode is like the hot tub time machine.
It is. Kind of from around the 14 or 1500s, but mainly more around the 1800s, there was use of a drug called laudanum. And this drug was originally created, sort of in one form or another, by someone called Paracelsus.
Well done on the pronunciation.
Thank you very much. You're going to love how well, actually, no, I'm going to leave you to pronounce his real name. Paracelsus was the shortened nickname of him, and he created this thing called laudanum, which is a mixture of opium and other kind of chemicals from the poppy plant, usually mixed with things like wine. Later on, Thomas Sydenham, friend of the podcast, but predominantly of Josh, for his promotion of high-quality, evidence-based medicine, he produced a uniform recipe in the 1800s using opium, saffron, cinnamon and cloves, all dissolved in wine, but it had various ingredients over the years. But Paracelsus, the guy that created the first laudanum, had the best name of all time. I have zero doubt in this.
Okay, I'm quite confident about this. I'm looking at it now, and you know what? I think I can do it. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
So Paracelsus' real name was Theophrastus Bombastus von Hohenheim.
Fantastic. Everybody loves a bit of Theophrastus Bombastus von Hohenheim.
I just think, how do you get the middle name Bombastus? It's like,
I'm going to be honest, I really want to put a middle name for if I have any children in the future as Bombastus.
I'm just trying to think if there's any US presidents that had B in that. You know, you have like John F. Kennedy, Lyndon. Oh, Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah.
Lyndon Bombastus Johnson.
They call him Mr. Bombastus.
Semi-fantastus.
Have any of you watched the anime Full Metal Jacket? Not Full Metal Jacket. Full
Metal Alchemist, you
Full
mean?
Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, I was going to say Full Metal Jacket. That's what is your radio malfunction, numbnuts?
But in Full Metal Alchemist, the kind of spoilers. No, there's no spoilers. This show's been around for ages. But the kind of the godlike creator character in that is called Hohenheim.
Ah.
Yeah. So he was the one.
What's
to
his
come
first name?
Theophrastus.
Bombastus. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That is very interesting. Are you guys aware of the Romantic era of poetry?
Isn't all poetry romantic?
Possibly.
Not the kind of poetry that I've been slamming. 20-hour challenge.
It was an era of poetry. You might have heard of people like Edgar Allan Poe, John Keats, William Blake, Lord Byron, and kind of Robert Burns.
I've heard of all of those names, but I don't think I know any of their actual poems.
No, that's
The
fine.
Raven.
But you know what I mean? Like
The Raven, no.
You've heard of these
No.
people.
I
You
probably
only know it
have.
from The Simpsons.
That's really famous. I'm into my gothic sort of old horror sort of, and The Raven is traditionally very much like that.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
As you can see, I did no historical research when preparing for my slam poetry challenge.
Of the Romantic poets, there was only one who seems not to have been addicted to or regularly used laudanum.
Which, again, is a combination of opium and other alkaloid chemical stuff.
And wine.
And wine.
And that was William Wordsworth.
Oh.
So if you're ever reading his poems and you think, these seem substantially more boring than the others, it's because he was the only one that wasn't absolutely dosed.
That is mental. They were all hooked.
They were. But I think maybe it's worth thinking then, obviously laudanum was this kind of mix of chemicals that was relatively standardised, but maybe we can bring it forward to the discovery of forms of opium that we would recognise today.
Edgar Allan Popium.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. So moving forward to Germany in the more modern era, they're quite industrious, aren't they? Wilhelm Adam Setterner was able to isolate meconic acid from opium latex, so that milk of the opium that we mentioned earlier, and he later renamed it morphium, which he found was really good at inducing sleep.
Yeah, I think he thought he had isolated a specific... He didn't really appreciate its other functions. He just thought this is the sleep-inducing element of opium. And so he based the name on the god of sleep, Morpheus.
Oh, okay, yeah. We've talked about Morpheus in previous episodes, haven't we?
About the language of pain. Go back and listen to episode, I think, 18 and 19.
Fantastic. Some good episodes. Some great guests as well.
I wonder how he died.
I think he's one of the rare ones that didn't necessarily die of an opium overdose, but he did die in obscurity. We don't really talk about him very much. He doesn't get the same attention that a lot of the other sort of people in the history of opium get. Also, in the same way, Heinrich Dresser, who was a chemist for Bayer, which still exists today as a modern medical firm, they were the producers of aspirin, he is often credited as the person of creating diacetyl morphine, which I'll tell you what that is in a little bit, but he marketed this as a non-addicting formulation of morphine, but he is actually not the person who discovered it. So today we give the credit to the person who actually discovered it, who was Charles Romley Alder Wright, a 19th century chemist working at St Mary's Hospital in London under Augustus Matthieson, and he was charged of researching components of opium to try and come up with something less addictive. So they were along the same lines, they both felt it was less addictive. Would anyone like to guess? Actually, I think Josh already knows this. Don, do you know what diacetyl morphine is? This, in inverted commas, less addictive form of morphine?
I'm guessing that is something less addictive. Heroin?
It is most certainly heroin, which, as we all know from modern day, is not less addictive. And we will talk about addiction in later episodes.
So yeah, they actually used to give heroin in the First World War to soldiers.
Do you know where the word heroin comes from?
Makes you more heroic.
Heroisch,
Heroisch.
which means, heroic in German.
Oh.
In German?
In German.
Oh, right, okay.
So there you go. Obviously, around this time, developing these new medications was important, but I think we imagine things like hypodermic needles and syringes have been around forever, but really, they're pretty new, aren't they?
Yeah, so it was 1844 when Francis Rind, an Irish physician, developed the first hollow needle that could be used as a subdermal fluid infusions. So that's infusing fluids or medications underneath the skin, which is completely revolutionary. Like, we don't even need to use the anus anymore.
What? Oh, people are missing out now. What does that mean, though, infusing under the skin?
So we still do this today, actually. So it's just putting a needle underneath the skin, underneath the subcut fat or underneath the dermis. And what you're doing is you're introducing that new chemical or that new medication, and then the body absorbs it.
Oh, just through the blood
Yeah,
vessels.
slowly but surely
Okay.
dissipates
Right.
underneath the skin.
Okay. I thought it was being blended with something else, infused with.
No. But one of the first people to then inject it into veins that we know of was Alexander Wood, who was a Scottish doctor who in 1853 injected morphine into the veins of his wife to support her with terminal cancer, which actually very progressive in this sense, because we still use sort of intravenous opiates in terminal cancer care today. It's still one of the mainstays of cancer pain management in the late stages.
Yeah, and this was further progressed by Charles Prevaz. I think he was he French?
Yeah.
Yeah, he produced the first sharp, fine-tipped hollow needle, which was initially used for injection into the ear, if you believe it or not. But yeah, they were soon used for opioid injections.
So injecting opioid into the ear?
No, I think just injecting it elsewhere. I think they
Elsewhere.
were designed to go for the ear, and then when opium came into play, I think they injected elsewhere. But if you look at original kind of hypodermic needle designs, they were very thick. Like, yes, they were hollow-barreled, but they were quite chunky compared to what we would be used to today when we have a vaccine, for example.
Yeah, I mean, if I asked you now to make a hypodermic needle from scratch, how would you?
Yeah, I've got absolutely no idea. Get the thinnest filament you can and try and cast metal around it.
Yeah.
But it'd
be thick.
It would be thick.
What kind of people are actually making these tools? Are they tool makers or physicians, doctors?
These were physicians at the time making
Right.
them. It was doctors making them themselves. Which again, I guess, really...
Skill.
Yeah, widely skilled people. Do you guys mind if I have a little quiz for you? I'm not sure this is worthy of a scoreboard, because it's a two truths and a lie game.
Okay.
No, everything goes on the scoreboard.
Okay.
Don needs the help.
I kind of do, actually.
Big talk. I think you're winning.
Am I?
Yeah, well,
At this point, who knows?
No, this is in the future. Josh has pulled so far ahead that it's unassailable.
Josh wishes.
We're going to
So
play
it's
two
a-
truths and a lie. So it is going to be two companies that were founded due to opium, and one that was not.
Okay.
Okay. Number one, Warburtons.
As in the bread? Mm-hmm. Okay. I already
No,
know
it's in
this
the
one.
opium producers.
Warburtons. Number two, HSBC. And number three, P&O Ferries.
Okay.
Which one of them was not founded?
P&O
due to-
Ferries.
Okay. Are you locking your answer in?
I'm locking that in.
I'm going to logic this out, just so the listeners can understand how I'm thinking about this. HSBC, that's Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, right?
It is.
I think Hong Kong was a hotbed for opium.
Yep.
I could be mistaken.
I feel like it might
was
have
that
been.
your process
That was
as
my
well?
reasoning as well, yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like that must be
I'm not going to say yes or no yet.
an opium starting off of. But I
Okay.
feel like it could potentially be.
I'm going to cover my face so Josh can't see if if his logic is right, because I'll give it away with my face.
Warburtons is obviously the sort of
Bread.
the red herring, isn't it? And you'd think
Yes.
P&O Ferries,
The bread herring.
did they just like operate like...
P&O Ferries, I feel like, is far too recent of a organisation. I don't know, how long have they been around for?
I don't know.
It's like 25 years, 30 years? Not that long, surely.
Why would... Oh.
I know why Warburtons.
Yeah, Warburtons, poppy seeds.
Yes.
Exactly. So,
I think I have heard that before.
I actually agree with you. I think it's P&O Ferries.
You can't
It's
just steal my answers.
I'm not stealing your answers. I give a very logical explanation of why I'm going for P&O.
Yeah, those are the exact same reasons I had.
You both are wrong.
No.
Hong Kong, Shanghai.
No. HSBC was created as a basically financial institution as part of the opium trade. P&O Ferries was originally called the Peninsula and Oriental Steam Navigation Company, started in 1847 to transport opium from Bengal through the Suez Canal.
Wow, I was way off in my 30 years.
So there you go.
So Warburtons is a nice clean company.
Warburton, well, I don't know, it might not be a nice clean company, but...
I thought that Warburtons definitely had some kind of tie to opium.
the poppy seeds does make sense, but no, it was incorrect. So there you go. No points for anyone.
I
A
genuinely...
point for me.
I have this vision
Don't need
where, like, there's opium stuffed in the bread. I don't know why.
Are you thinking like a la Grand Budapest Hotel, sneaking things in the cakes?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that film. But thinking of taking us back to Germany, where we were shortly before, thinking about Bayer, I just want to segue through Germany to Sigmund Freud and his colleague Karl Koller. So this was one of the first people to write about using cocaine as a local anaesthetic during eye and urological procedures.
It works. I mentioned this before on the podcast, but cocaine is a very good antitussive, so it stops you coughing, but it's also a fairly decent anaesthetic. If you look at the old 1980s sort of cop dramas where they get the cocaine and they rub the teeth, rub the gums, they're actually trying to see if their gums go numb. If the gums go numb, they know it's cocaine.
Well, there you go.
That's phenomenal, yeah.
And Dr. J. Leonard Corning actually performed the first spinal block. So he did a lumbar puncture, which is where you kind of puncture the tissue around the central nervous system in the spine. And he injected cocaine into there as a solution and managed to provide sort of spinal anaesthesia for the first time.
Yeah, again, I'm going to maybe blow your mind, Joe, but cocaine, lidocaine,
Yeah. Same. Benzocaine.
Cocaine bear.
liverbupivacaine.
Is that actually a real drug?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I have no more canes to offer. But there you go. So the Germans at this time were really exploring a lot around drugs that we would now consider illicit, but some quite interesting research at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, particularly in dentistry, cocaine was very widely used.
Yeah. We did find out one more thing about the origin of cocaine, though, didn't we? And about what it used to be mixed with.
Yes, so the pre-Inca Peruvian civilization often mixed it with alkalis such as lime to help extract active ingredients.
And by lime, we mean like lime, the building material, not the delicious citrus fruit.
Yeah. Often cornstarch or guano would be used as binding agents as well, which is wild.
Yeah.
What's guano?
Bat poop.
Guano.
Or seabird poop, right?
Yeah, it's effectively bird poop, is guano.
Yeah. And it's high in nitrates.
It's very high in nitrates. We've mentioned this yet again previously on the podcast, but so high in nitrates that you can use it for the manufacturing of gunpowder.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It reminds me of like Ace Ventura and H. Cole's, like Shikaka. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there's a lot of guano in that, and it's what's his name?
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
It's Jim Carrey just running around shouting guano and talking about great white bats.
Okay.
It's a wild movie.
Yeah, it does sound like it.
Speaking of ancient civilizations, the Mayans also had a role to play in all of this. So, Joe, would you like to enlighten us with what they called their physicians? And the audience, I think you're going to love this. I certainly do.
So, anyone who was brought up like in a Christian school or anything, I think you'll enjoy this as much as I do. Their physicians were also priest doctors, and the name of these priest doctors was
Amen.
spelled A-H space M-E-N, which Don also pointed out could be pronounced as
Men! As in the people who are going to treat me for my hot anus.
But these Amen weren't just trained as doctors. They got training in loads of different areas. Arithmetic, history, therapeutics, which I don't know what this was defined as, but that's what it said in the article. Reading, writing, and astrology.
Did you guys know where astrology actually originated?
I don't know. Is it not like women's magazines?
No, it's not Vogue, unfortunately. It was from ancient Mesopotamia, particularly in the city of Babylon.
Ooh,
the second
as in
millennium
Hanging
BC.
Gardens.
Yes.
Not by the rivers of.
No. Babylon.
You know the Mayans as well, these priest doctors. Do you know what they would use when they were doing surgery to sew up wounds?
No, go on. Not like, was it not string?
Human hair.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's not the worst thing I've heard of.
No,
I mean, definitely
yeah.
wouldn't recommend it, but
Why not?
because it's not sterile.
Oh, do they not make it sterile?
I don't know.
Would they know to make it sterile?
How would
Also,
you
if
make it sterile?
You'd have to burn it and then it
Shampoo
would
it?
stink.
Would you like to know some of my favourite uses of stitches in the wild?
Oh, I know what you're going to say, but yes, please.
Stitches in
enlighten
the
us.
wild, sorry.
Yeah.
Go
I
on.
think it's in the Americas as well.
It is.
There's a type of ant, I think it could be a woodcutter ant. It's got a very big mandible, so big jaws.
And it looks like a C shape, that it kind of pinches the ends together.
Yeah.
Like a scorpion almost?
No.
No,
I like a
it's
scorpion's
ant.
claw.
What's it called again?
Woodcutter ant.
Woodcutter.
Yeah, so they've got such a large mandible that if you've got a significant cut, you can use them as sutures.
So they bite it, and then you pull their body off, and they leave their jaw in.
Ah, okay.
And so people would suture wounds like this. They actually look pretty good. I've seen some
couldn't be honest.
images, and you know the healing is considering they're doing it without any form of stitching, pretty impressive.
Not sterile, but if you're in a situation where it's life or death and you've got a big gash in your arm,
Yeah.
I'd do it.
We spoke about one ancient civilization, the Mayans. Shall we go even further back, harking back to the beginning of the episode, in 3300 BCE?
Ooh, going way back in time.
To the Indus River Valley civilization. So, the Indus River Valley civilization was invaded by Indo-Europeans around 2000 BCE, and they helped to establish the sacred Rig Veda texts, which were part of the foundation for the three dosas. So these were three humours, which you might have heard of before when we spoke about the ideas of Galen and his humours, and Hippocrates was actually the person thought to have come up with the theory of the four humours. In case you don't remember, black bile, yellow bile, blood and phlegm. But that theory was actually ripped pretty much straight from the tridosa doctrine of the Indus River Valley that I think Don knows a little bit more about.
Yeah, so the three humours go as Vayu, Kapha, and Pitta. And so the point of these three dosas, or in Sri Lanka we call it Shri dosa, and in other, I guess, South Asian cultures they call it Tri dosa, Tri dosa, something like that. Apologies if I've just completely butchered it. But the point of this of this doctrine is to make sure that all of these individual humours, so Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, or Kapha, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that one, are all balanced. And so the Vata dosha is usually energetic, creative, usually for thinking outside the box, but it's easily distracted, and so it's considered the autumn dosa. Kapha, is usually someone who's caring, recognised for their support of others. They rarely get upset. They act in a slow and deliberate manner. And this is kind of thought of as the spring dosa. And then Pita, these are kind of the athletic, muscular aspects of a person, the strong leaders, being highly motivated, competitive, goal-orientated. And so that one is considered the summer dosa. And so, yes, they believe that it's important to have all of these in balance within oneself. And to do that, Josh, could you tell us a bit more about what was recommended for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So going back on the Kapha dosa, a physician named Susruta from 600 BC recommended exercise at 50% capacity every day. He said diseases fly from the presence of a person's habituated to regular physical exercise. He said that Kapha dosa was reduced in response to exercise. However, he also thought that exercise too strenuous would lead to death.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've actually seen some very interesting exercise-induced significant issues.
Oh.
I once had a young chap in his 20s that hadn't been to the gym for a while. Had a really
This is a patient, everyone.
Yeah, this is a real-life patient. I'm not going to give any identifiers or anything. But he was exercising so much on his upper body that he put himself into rhabdomyolysis. Which is where you've worked so hard that your muscles start to break down and release lots of proteins into the body. They get released into the body, and then they start to affect your kidneys, and your kidneys start to fail as well.
Wow.
So exercise literally can kill you.
So the muscles break down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you've overstimulated them, I guess.
So when you're growing muscle, you do have that breakdown and rebuilding that makes muscle stronger. But if you completely overdo it, or if you have other health conditions, or if you're older, or if you've got something that predisposes you to that, yeah, it really can affect you.
Could steroids exacerbate that?
I believe they could, actually.
Interesting. Slightly later on, around sort of somewhere between 250 and 100 BCE, another Ayurvedic, I've pronounced that wrong, but...
No, you said it right.
Oh, get it.
Ayurvedic.
Doctor called Karaka also was there advocating for daily exercise. But do you know who the first person that we have documented was who encouraged daily exercise for the benefits of health? Back in the 5th and 6th centuries BCE.
Is it John Cena?
It's most certainly not John Cena. Any historical figures? I mentioned earlier on a famous figure from mathematics. Who comes to mind?
Triangle Boy.
More specifically?
Pythagoras,
the one, the only. A squared plus B squared equals C
squared.
He's here to tell you about triangles and to berate you for not exercising enough. Yeah, he was the first person to encourage daily exercise that we have evidence of. And I believe there was also someone in China as well, wasn't there?
Yes, so there was a Chinese physician named Huato. I definitely butchered that one. I can't do Chinese as well as the others, I'm sorry. During the East Han Dynasty around 100 CE, he said, the body needs exercise, only it must not be to the point of exhaustion, for exercise expels the bad air in the system, promotes free circulation of the blood, and prevents sickness.
I'm going to be honest, he sounds pretty smart.
Yeah.
Pretty spot on advice. I don't know what else he was doing, so benefit of the doubt, let's not read anything more about him so we can keep a positive light. Because it seems that any time we read more about these physicians from history, it's only good for a very short amount of time.
Whose anuses were they probing?
Moving quite a long way forward in history to think about how exercise was progressed. Friend of the podcast, again, Ibn Sina, or Avicenna as he was known in the West, promoted walking long distances while listening to nice music to induce sleep and to basically make you feel better. So he was recommending exercise to regulate sleep and to regulate emotions as well, and he thought they could be powerful analgesics. And I believe that we've gone quite into depth in our notes for this episode on the background and life of Ibn Sina.
Did we find something awful?
You'll see.
Okay.
So to give a bit more background context on Ibn Sina, he was a Muslim philosopher and a physician born in Bukhara in 980, which is now, Bukhara is now modern day Uzbekistan. Two of his books received international circulation, one of them being the Book of Healing and the other the Canon of Medicine. The Canon of Medicine tried to amalgamate Galen's teaching with Eastern medical practices, such as those of our boy Raz's.
Big Raz.
And Ibn Sina also added his own contributions to this book. It was part of the syllabus at many European universities until about the late 16th century.
I was going to say, so this could have been like taught at Oxford, Cambridge.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely within that time frame.
Do you know what one of his big contributions was in the Canon of Medicine to kind of the medical universe?
Go on.
It was starting to consider dosages of different drugs. So he compared dosages of opium to doses of other drugs. So he thought that cannabis seeds, for example, had a third less pain-killing power than opium. And so he would try and create these things where you could weigh up how much drug you'd have to use to get the same effect.
Well, that's coming back in, not in terms of dosages, but cannabis seeds, so like, CBD oil and what have you.
So there you go. Very interesting, right?
It is, yeah. It's essential as well, dosing.
But as with a lot of the characters in one of the sources for this episode, Milk of Paradise, a book about the history of opium, Ibn Sina unfortunately died of an opium overdose. And this seems to be a theme throughout this book, is that you get someone, they discover something about opium poppies, they do something quite progressive or significant compared to what had been done before, and then they die of an overdose.
Joe, would you promise me that you don't ever research opium again?
I've never researched
Or,
it, don't worry.
just stick to the ethical practices of not testing things on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially when you've tested it on yourself, don't just keep testing it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, I mean, these were incredibly addictive substances.
This is true.
One for you, one for me.
One for-
One for me.
But Ibn Sina, of course, was a pioneer of anesthesia. That's what kind of his biggest legacy is for the medical world.
Yeah, so when Ibn Sina performed surgery, soporific drinks were used, which contain cannabis, ergot, atropine, and opium, all dissolved in wine. Vinegar would be used to wake the patients up afterwards as well. Like, I want to know how. Is it just like dousing them with vinegar, or is it like rubbing it on their anus?
Catholic
What is
priest
it?
style. Wait, not the anus, I mean the dousing.
Yeah, so the pain relief that he recommended was ice or cold water, lettuce seeds, nightshade, hemlock, hyacinthus, mandrake, and opium.
So that's kind of the post-surgical, I guess, painkillers.
Yeah, so I mean, ice and cold water, that reduces swelling. So post-surgery, actually, yeah, I can't say no. Lettuce seeds I'm less concerned with, but nightshade,
Definitely very poisonous.
probably not using that. Hemlock, I'd probably...
What is hemlock?
Another poison.
Okay.
It looks like
Plant-based poison.
It's old traditional sort of like poisoning people hemlock. I think it was in Macbeth. Was it in Macbeth? It was one of the Shakespeare. It's like
I think it's
Shakespearean.
Macbeth. I think you're right.
It looks like a white carrot.
Parsnip.
No, not a parsnip, but that does look like a white carrot, you're right.
But not everything was sunshine and rainbows when it came to Ibn Sina. He wasn't quite as progressive when it came to his stance on chronic pain.
We don't like this.
We don't like him for this. So he did say that if pain persisted beyond the original stimulus, that it should not be treated as it's not true pain. And the pain doesn't actually exist.
Yeah. So basically, what that means is that unless you've got an obvious stimulus there causing that pain, then it's not real. So unless you've got a thorn in your finger, unless you've got a broken, disfigured leg, then it's not real pain.
And if you've been burned by a fire, for example, if you then have pain months later, he doesn't believe that's real pain because you're no longer being burned.
It could be nerve damage, right?
Well, precisely, but I don't think he was necessarily understanding that. Ibn Sina wasn't actually the first Iranian to use general anaesthesia. At some time around the 5th century BCE, there was a book called the Shahnameh, which was kind of a great Iranian poetry book, and there was a poet and physician in there called Ferdowsi, who was known for using cannabis and camphor oil as a method for producing general anaesthesia, so putting people to sleep. And it's funny because even though these kind of general anaesthetic principles existed all the way back sort of 4th, 5th century BCE, we still see people being praised as being some of the founders of using these general anaesthetics all the way as far as the 1260s. So it shows just like we kept on discovering things like general anaesthesia and then losing them, and discovering and losing and discovering and losing. But Don, I think as a final pronunciation, we should get you to explain this sort of most recent of the people praised for their role in promoting anaesthesia.
In the 1260s at Salerno Medical School, which we mentioned was where Miss Trotula was applying opium to vaginas.
Dr. Trotula.
Dr. Trotula. There was a man called Theodorich Borgononi. I butchered it compared to the other time I said it. I'll try that again. Theodorich Borgoni. No, I butchered that again.
I think it could be Theodoric Borgononi.
No, that sounds Russian. Theodorich Borgononi. And this man was a famous scholar who pioneered the use of soporific sponges as a method of anaesthesia, where he would soak the sponge in water which contained opium, henbane, mandrake, hemlock, and lettuce seeds, or lettuce.
So again, we end up right back at something that we had a long time beforehand, kind of rediscovering the same thing again and again and again. And funnily enough, it wasn't until the 1840s that we started using general anaesthesia as sort of a regular and standard procedure, despite the fact we kept kind of discovering it. Obviously, this is less safe than modern general anaesthetics, but those in the 1840s weren't exactly great either, i.e. chloroform, ether. They weren't exactly good for you. So, be very thankful that you live in a time with modern anaesthetics.
Thank God.
And so with that, we come barreling towards the end of the History of Pain Management Part 3. And I think I speak for us all when I just want to say a massive thank you to those of you who are listening to this. We didn't think we'd make it a year.
It's been a wonderful year so far. I've really enjoyed this. There was a bit of a learning curve for me, but I've genuinely enjoyed it so much. And I feel like we're doing... Yeah, I'm very proud of the two of you. Of all of us. We've put a lot of
We're very
hard
proud of
work.
you too.
Thank you. I
was
was
about to
just wanting that.
I'm proud of us two too.
Fuck you, Josh. It means nothing from you.
But in all seriousness, we do have to say a massive thank you. There's 135 of you who have subscribed to us now across Spotify and YouTube. We've had like 60 listens per episode, which is better than we really ever could have hoped for in this first year. We've had 2 Patreon subscribers. We were in the top 8% of new podcasts on Spotify, which again is somewhere I'd never thought that we would be. And so we're all incredibly grateful for that. But if we can ask for anything from you as a first birthday gift, it would be for you to share this podcast with someone else. It can be their Christmas or New Year's gift.
The only gift they'll get this year is subs.
Yeah. And if you really, really like us, you can subscribe to our Patreon, where, as you well know, you can find absolutely tons of stuff, and you don't need us to tell you again.
But we will.
And so on Patreon, we kid. Let's finish today's episode with our book review, shall we?
Is it a book that we've been talking quite a bit about already on this episode?
It most certainly is. It's The Milk of Paradise by Lucy Inglis, which is phenomenally well researched. Absolutely amazing. The amount of stuff that she's brought to our attention. I think we did a very, very thorough job on episodes 1 and 2 of researching, but this was next level, really next level.
Yeah, she's given us a lot of content.
She has. So Lucy, thank you very much. And if you ever end up listening to this podcast, feel free to hit us up and come on, tell us all the things that didn't make it into the book, or all the things that you think that we didn't say that we should have said.
Yeah. So, what did we rate this book out of 10?
I think this is a solid 9 out of 10.
Do you know what? I'd say it couldn't be anything other than at least a 9, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, in this episode, other than just having Lucy Inglis's amazing book as a source, we did have a few other places that we got information from that you can see in our show notes. But most importantly, we had wonderful, wonderful names. And so it's goodbye from me, Dr. Trotula.
Goodbye from me, Big Raz.
And goodbye from me, Dr. Theophrastus Bombastus von Hohenheim.